This home my wife and I built about 4 years ago. It was part of a 10-year project, the study and construction of this project called the Universal Design Living Laboratory. I'm going to tell you what that means here shortly, but in the interest of time, I'm going to move through this program, give you a couple short snippets and a couple of real-life examples. First of all, by the numbers, 1.5 acre infill lot. Now what I mean by infill lot is that there is a home on 3 sides around us previously there, so we did not take up virgin farmland when we built this. We also have 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. Condition area, the lower level is just under 3,600 square feet. It is a full basement, full first floor of the same amount of space. And if you count the clear story, if you look at about 10 feet up to the ceiling height of 20, I consider that about another 1,243 square feet. So I've got about 8,437 square feet of conditioned space in the house. Now, this is like the EPA mileage thing you get at a car dealership. We talked about this earlier. It's the HERS index. It's a measure of efficiency in the home. And I did this little scale here to illustrate a typical home being 130 on a HERS score. The new home built since 2006, a score of 100. Energy Star minimum back when we did this home with their program was 85. We came in at 43. A net zero energy home is at 0, and anything even in a negative number is meaning you're generating energy for that home. Secondly, the air infiltration that Mira had talked about earlier in her program, we're even better than the 2012 IECC minimum. 3 air exchanges an hour, we're at 1.27. It's a really tight house. If you're at 0 or even less than 0, you can't get the doors open because there's actually suction on the inside of the house. So, because of that, the air sealing, the windows, everything else we did in the home, and the due diligence that we did, we were awarded 2 different certifications on the green side. The first one is the LEED Silver we were awarded last year. We were only 5 points short of gold on that program. Extremely difficult because the LEED program punishes people to have extremely large homes, but we still were managed to do it. On the NAHB, which is the National Association of Home Builders, we were awarded gold, and we were only 20 points short of their emerald certification, which is essentially their platinum in LEED terms. So we had to follow a multi-year protocol and process to get those awards. It was very difficult. A lot of people came through our house to monitor everything we did. Now, I'm going to give you an example here of passive solar. I know most people here have alluded to this in one way, shape, or form. Let me show you how it works. We have 6-foot overhangs on this Frank Lloyd Wright Prairie-style home. This home is in Jefferson Township, just outside of Gahanna on Clark State Road. We are looking north, so this wall you're seeing is facing south. When you go inside here, I'm standing up high here. The plate glass window, the large picture window down at the bottom. I can take a picture of that on June. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I can point. I can take a picture of this on June 21st on summer solstice. There is no sun that comes in the house. In the wintertime, around the middle of December when we have the winter solstice, it comes up to the fireplace. Here's the benefit to that. We have nat gas heating, and the reason we did that, we have natural gas available to us out at the street. We have 2 furnaces there. We run the blowers at 50%, essentially very silent, very low speed. We run those 24 hours a day. The sun heats the space in the fall, winter, and spring. Because the sun comes into the house, it mixes with the air that's rising. Rather than have stratified hot air up here at the ceiling, on the other side of this fireplace, you cannot see there's a 14-inch return air grill that sucks the hot air off the ceiling, pulls it back down to the basement, splits it to the 2 furnaces, and redistributes it around the house. Here's how that works in real numbers. You might recall February a year ago, 2015, 3rd coldest month on record in the Columbus, Ohio region. I track this stuff every month, and we were looking at our gas bill. From the time period of January 27th to February 25th. My wife and I both work at home, so couldn't leave the house because I had knee surgery that month, so I was stuck. We had a lot of snow that month. You can see by the chart there, the low to high, and then the red line is the daily average. There was only 3 or 4 days where we actually got above freezing that entire month. So the way this played out was 29 days, my total cost to heat the home was $221, and that includes direct vent fireplace, that includes cooking with natural gas, 2 gas-fired flash Energy Star rated heaters, natural gas heaters, backup generator running once a week for 20 minutes. Pretty incredible amount. My typical monthly bill for natural gas will be under $100 a month in this home. Any questions with that before I move on? Okay. Now, I know Bill, Mira talked about this, and I'm absolutely 100% believer in HRVs. HRVs prevent what's called sick building syndrome. You can still use low and no VOC paints, which we did, caulks, glues, etc. in the home, and we police that very heavily. However, I think what makes the most sense in this, by running the blowers at 50%, using a heat recovery ventilator, which keeps your conditioned air, the heat from the conditioned air from going outside, and replenishes it with outside air that's then recharged. That's what this transfer does to that. I saw sick building syndrome in a couple of previous jobs I've had. It's nasty in terms of worker productivity, etc. We're real cognizant of making sure we have airflow continuously in the home so we feel good. Now, Universal Design Living Laboratory, what does that mean? First of all, universal design is a design of products and environments that will suit people of all ages and abilities to the greatest extent possible without the need for specialized design. So you'll see a lot of different things in this home, such as no step entries, such as wider doorways, peepholes in the doors. They're built into the doors in this particular example. In the kitchen, you'll have such things as variable type countertops, a dishwasher that's up higher, sinks and range cooking areas that can be pulled into from a seated position. The goal of universal design in the kitchen area is to have 50% of the storage accessible from a seated position. And also other rooms such as the bathroom, such as, again, different counter heights, using recycled materials for the countertops. Lighting, very ample lighting in this home because as people age, they lose visual acuity. Toilet rooms where you use creative uses of doors to maximize space, and also a seated area inside a roll-in shower. Here's why we did this. My wife, Rosemary Rossetti, were married in 1995. We had built what we had thought at the time being our last home, a very basic 2-story home in a suburb of Gahanna. 3 years on our wedding anniversary, we went for a bike ride in Granville, Ohio, on a bike trail on a sunny day, no wind. A tree that's 80 feet tall, 7,000 pounds, collapsed and crushed her right before my eyes. So she became a paraplegic. So we had to build a new home. The home we had simply was not going to work. It was going to require too many changes, too much effort. The problem is that there's very few homes that are designed to have accessible features in them. However, because of this home and because of the size of the home, we knew it wasn't just going to be for Rosemary and myself. We also wanted to do outreach, and we continue to do that this day to a lot of not only student groups. Dr. Chen's had students out to our groups. We've had students working on the house. We've had colleges, etc., from around the state of Ohio involved with this. Stroke support groups. This is students from Graham School at the bottom. We had 2 busloads of people last week. The idea of this is to give them a little bit of incentive or give them the idea that they can do this for themselves. Not necessarily this size, not necessarily this shape, but the concept of being able to use a home for a lifetime. Now, here's some universal ideas to implement. No step entry with 1/2 inch max threshold throughout. In this example here, you can see a ramp that was built into a garage as an add-on, which is perfectly acceptable. 36-inch wide doors throughout. Also lever handles on doors. It makes it easy if you've got problems with arthritis in your hands to be able to open and close those doors. Lower countertop areas in kitchen and vanity. And then also blocking in the wall for grab bars. Real important. It gives you infinite flexibility when in a new build or a remodel if at some point in time you need a grab bar for assistance as we age. Curbless shower with seating. You saw a picture of that a moment ago. Hard surface flooring makes it easy to get around. It's cleanable, doesn't retain dirt. We have a central vac system in our house, and I have hardwood floors everywhere that is engineered in green. I can go around and vacuum that house in 30 minutes on the first floor. It's fantastic. And the most stuff I'm picking up is cat tumbleweeds from our cat. So, toilets will be at comfort height, 17 to 19 inches high. Now, in these space under cabinets and sinks, pretty basic, reasonable accommodation to meet people's various life objectives. Because of all the different things we did in this home, we were able to achieve 3 different certifications from Livable Design in Sacramento, California, from Zero Step in Kent, Michigan, and then also LifeFlex in Denver, Colorado. We are the highest rated universal design home in North America, period, bar none. We've gone above platinum in terms of what we've done in terms of both programs, those top 2 programs. Yes?
Are you considered all ADA compliant?
Yes, we are. And ADA is a minimum standard.
Yes.
What we did is went far beyond that.
Right.
Yes. You wouldn't necessarily do everything we did in a home that you're building or remodeling, but you want to consider some of this stuff. And some of it can be very affordable. I mean, we have a different level of finish in this home, but you can take a lot of these concepts and put them in a Habitat home. You can put them in a low-income home. Okay? So, the laboratory's out on Clark State Road. We do group tours on occasion. To interested people, you can drop us an email at my address up there. But we also have what we talked about today in a little free report that's on our website. udll.com. Go out there. A lot of the stuff I didn't cover in terms of the universal design world is there. You can download that. We also have a virtual tour that Google came in and did for us. They don't do residential spaces, but they made an exception. So you can go through and mouse through every room, use the free report to find the different services or different items that we put in the home, and look for the cat, because it is in one of the pictures somewhere. Yes, Bill?
Yeah, Ed, I live right near there, and I went to your home when it was under construction.
Sure.
And the envelope you used, I believe it's called
SIP panels?
insulated panel, right?
SIP panels, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Structural insulated panel.
That's correct.
Okay. That is a major feature on what's your R value of the
Okay, good question. I'll answer that. I'm going to take 2 levels here. Basement, first of all.
Yeah.
We use Superior Walls. Superior Walls is a different system that's prefabricated in a factory. It's 10.5 inches deep. However, the concrete on the wall facing the earth is only 2¼ inches thick. But it's 5,000 pounds per square inch, fiberglass reinforced concrete. It's a special mix. It's so dense that water will not permeate through that concrete. You do not have to put an outside coating on that. The second thing about those Superior Walls, they have 7¼ inch concrete and steel rebar filled studs every 24 inches. Okay, and they have blue board, R10 blue board attached to them at the factory in the 2¼ inch deep recess. What that allowed me to do is fill up, and Mara is absolutely correct, losing 30% of your energy through basements. So what we did is we meshed everything, and we dry blowed twice cellulose in that into all the basement walls. So we have our R value of being anywhere from R33 to R47, depending on where we are. Now the first floor is structural insulated polystyrene panels. These are also built in a factory. I get lead points for this by having stuff built off-site and brought on. 24-inch studs on center, oriented strand board both inside and outside, and it's filled with a virgin polystyrene bead type stuff. It's almost like a styrene board you'd find at Home Depot. Minimizes thermal breaking, thermal voids, etc. Electricians hate them because they can't fish wires through them, but that's okay. So that's what that is. So we use those on the first floor, most of the first floors. A couple areas we couldn't do that because of the strength of the wall. Great question, thank you. So, as we go to lunch, I'm going to leave you with something to chew on here, and that is this. We have in our life a series of snapshot moments. We're born, we take a picture. Our child goes off to first grade, we take a picture. They graduate from college, take a picture. You get married, you take a picture. You have a child. You're dealing with aging parents. Injury or illness may happen along the way. I would pose it that you would want to consider looking at homes not as a snapshot, but rather as a movie that can adapt and change as your life circumstances change. We would not have built this house had our previous house been adaptable and changeable for Rose and Marie. I was perfectly happy in a 3,000 square foot home. It met our needs. It did what we wanted to do. I'll pose, Randall. So, I think, quite frankly, the builders in this country have done a poor job in terms of understanding people's needs. We continue to see enormous pushback and resistance in terms of building accessibility, even at its most basic, putting wider doorways in and access into the home. It's important to build from the inside out because, as I told our architect, I don't sit out on Clark State Road and look at the house all day long. I actually live in the house. So, thank you.